All right, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome to my space. My name is Katie. And for today's practice, we're going to be doing a short yin yoga sequence for the liver and gallbladder meridians. Now, the liver and gallbladder meridians are the meridians associated with the season of spring, according to Chinese medicine, and they're associated with the element of wood. And when we think of wood from a TCM perspective, we're not thinking of like trees, big trunks and logs. We're thinking of that like really supple green wood of spring, that like new growth that's really flexible. And so if you were here last week or for my last video, which I'll just tag right up here, you'll know that flexibility is kind of the main theme of wood element or spring season. So for today's practice, we're going to focus on the two pathways where energy is said to flow associated with the liver, which is the yin pathway, and the gallbladder, which is the yang pathway. And when these pathways or spaces in the body are well balanced, we feel really emotionally flexible. We feel ready to kind of go with the flow of life and to stay lighthearted when things maybe don't go our way. Now, when those energies are not in balance, we can feel pretty rigid, and like that dry branch, we can just snap, and that's where anger comes in. Anger is the associated emotion with imbalance. So this is a quick practice you can do. I would definitely recommend first thing in the morning, but any time that you have time throughout the day, to just keep yourself in that fluid space of receptivity to whatever life has for you at any given moment. So for today's practice, you might want some sort of strap, maybe a couple blocks or a pillow, but that'll just be for comfort's sake later on. We're gonna go ahead and start our practice on our back. So we'll come onto the back and we'll begin our practice in what we call constructive rest pose. So soles of the feet flat to the mat, knees to the sky, and you could just take a second here to work your body into the floor. Now, if you did doing this practice first thing in the morning, you might feel like, well, I don't want to lay down. I was just laying down. But this laying down is definitely a laying down with purpose and intention. Hopefully it feels a little different. Finding some stillness as you're ready, finding a comfortable place for the seat, finding a comfortable place for the hands. Close down the eyes. And we'll start with a little breath work to just come into the body and to come into this space. So just emptying the body of breath completely. And then take a big inhale to the count of 4. Holding at the top for 2 more counts. And then slow exhale for the count of 6. Inhale for 4. Pause for 2. And out for 6. Continue this pattern. Using the breath to kind of clear the fog of sleep if you've just woken up, or clear the fog of whatever's happened earlier today. And use the exhales to let go of any frustration you might be carrying lately, any rigidity in the body or in the mind. We'll take a couple more cycles on our own. With each breath, imagining making the body that little bit more supple, hydrating the body with each breath. Let's take one more full cycle together. So empty your lungs and then breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. Out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the breath. Take a big, deep inhale through the nose. And a big cleansing exhale sigh. Good. Let's stretch both legs forward. Let's stretch the arms back overhead. Take a big full body breath to let the low back lift off the mat. And then bring the knees into the belly. Give yourself a little squeeze, a little rock side to side here. Massaging the low back on the floor. Good. From here, let's extend the right leg forward. You can release the right heel to the mat. And pull the left knee in towards the belly. And so with the knee in the belly, into the belly, I'm going to pull the knee out to the left and down. And here's where you might want to grab your strap. You're going to start to lift the foot up towards the sky. You can grab behind the thigh, or you could walk the hands up the leg towards the ankle or the outer edge of the foot. Now, if this is a lot for you, first thing in the morning, just strap, or anytime, just loop the strap around the ball mound of the left foot. Maybe you loop it around the left arm, and then you can relax that left shoulder back and down to the mat. So half happy baby. Let the right palm rest on the front of the right thigh, and then close down the eyes here and just let the body get really heavy through the shoulders. Relax through both feet. Relax through the muscles of the face. So here we're targeting the liver meridian that runs from the bottom of the foot over that inner ankle bone, the inner knee, and then deep into that inner thigh. So as we settle here, we come back into our conscious awareness of the body, really using this time and this practice to just slow down, let go of all other distractions, and just to check in. Notice if any tension has crept in to maybe the shoulders, maybe the forehead, around the corners of the eyes, the glutes. Get really patient with the posture. We'll be here for just about 5 or so more cycles of breath. If you're really comfortable here and you'd like to extend that left leg out a little bit more, you're more than welcome to take it even deeper into the liver channel by just finding a little bit more sensation in that inner left thigh. Let's take another breath. Big inhale. Big cleansing exhale. You can float open your eyes. Bring the foot back in towards the body. Release the strap if you have it. And then we'll use the right hand to pull the left knee across the body with the knee bent into a twist. So as you come into your twist, root down through the back of the left shoulder. You can take the left arm straight out to a T, or maybe you cactus that left arm, taking the palm to the sky. Right hand can act as a weight if that feels good on the top of the left thigh, or you can just let the right arm relax. We're moving this stretch up into the ribs. So gallbladder meridian runs down the side of the body. This is the yang meridian. And this is the meridian or the channel, the pathway where energy can get stuck often and lead to that frustration, feeling, that anger. So maybe you take your gaze to the left if it feels good, kind of targeting the gallbladder pathway on the right side of the neck. If that's too much, you can keep your head to neutral. And then we're just going to relax for a few more breaths here. Really just sinking into the sensation of the twist. Feel how the exhales are aided by the twisting sort of nature of the physical body. And just use your next couple exhales to really wring out any resentment you've been feeling. Let's take one more big deep breath in the twist. And then big open mouth exhale as you roll back to the back. Good. Let's lengthen both legs down the mat again. Take another big full body stretch. Bring your arms back and overhead. And then on an exhale, we're going to come into banana pose. So walk the feet towards the front right corner of the mat. And then arch your upper body towards the upper right corner of the mat. So you come into this nice big long banana shape, this extension through the left side of the gallbladder line. Maybe you can cross at the ankles, right ankle over left or left ankle over right without forcing anything here. And if it feels good, right hand can hold left wrist, maybe lightly pulling up into the right. If that's too much or it creates too much tension in the shoulders, feel free to just soften the shoulders here as much as you need to, even down to a cactus, or maybe you put your hands behind your head. Close the eyes again once you've found the posture, and then just focus on relaxing the body and just leaning like you would into a hammock, into the sensation of the stretch. Letting go of your need to control anything here, relaxing the thighs, the glutes. Maybe even letting the stretch become less intense, giving yourself permission to just breathe. We'll take a few more slow breaths here. And let's take our last big deep inhale together. And then take a big open mouth exhale again. You can blink open your eyes. Let's take the body into a big X shape. So left foot to the front left corner of the mat, arms up and back. Big stretch in all directions. And then just relax here as long as it's okay for the shoulders. Come into Shavasana for a moment and notice the difference between the left and right side. Maybe one leg feels longer than the other. Maybe one side of your body feels heavier, lighter. Maybe it just feels a little bit more alive. Whatever you can notice about the difference between the left and right side, take note of. This will help you to remember this sensation. Hopefully, it'll bring you back to your mat. Good. From here, let's bring the hands down. Let's bring the feet flat to the mat again. And then we'll bring both knees into the belly before we come into the second side. So once again, you can just rock a little side to side, massaging the low back on the ground here. Maybe it feels nice to take circles with the hips one way and then the other. And then we'll move into second side. Let's extend the left leg forward, release the heel, straightening the leg, and just relaxing that left leg on the floor. Pull the right knee into the chest. Compressing that right hip into the belly. You can just take a second here. And then you can use the right hand to start to pull that right knee outside the body and down towards the floor. You start to feel this in the inner thigh just a bit. Good. From here, you could start to kick the foot up towards the sky, walking the hand up, maybe just the back of the thigh, the calf, the ankle, or maybe you can grab the outer edge of the foot. This is a great place, again, to use your strap if this is just inaccessible or unsustainable for a minute and a half, 2 minutes or so. Just strap up the ball mound of the right foot and then let the right shoulder relax back into the mat. Left palm can just rest on the front of the left hip. This is a means to encourage that hip to stay down rather than to let the whole shape roll to the right. And then relax as much as you can in this posture. And again, just soften your gaze or close down the eyes. Notice if any sort of anger or frustration starts to bubble up in any of these postures. Without judging that reaction, just becoming aware. Breathing through whatever you're feeling. Using the breath to self-soothe a bit. With every exhale, find opportunities for surrender and take them. Allowing yourself to grow with the light of life like a branch grows towards the sun. If you'd like to follow the sensation a little deeper here and start to extend your right leg a little straighter, you're welcome to take the right leg even more straight if it feels nice. If you've run into a wall, as I have, maybe you just scoot your body away from the floor. Maybe you just lean into that support. I'll take just a few more breaths here. Let's take our last big inhale together. Big cleansing exhale. Float open the eyes. Bring the foot back in towards the body. Release the strap if you have it. And then just bend that left knee. Use the left hand. What is that, the right knee? Use the left hand to pull it across the body into the twist. As you come into your twist, right shoulder roots down. You can imagine a root system growing into the floor behind you if that's helpful. And you can take your right hand out to a T or maybe that cactus shape. Maybe you even turn your gaze to the right side. Option to use that left hand as a weight on the outer thigh or just to relax the left hand entirely. And focus your breath and your awareness in this posture into the space of the right ribs. So there's a lot of sensation for the hip here, but I want you to really feel the twist up here, maybe even bringing your right hand to the rib to kind of help your perception of the breath there. Notice if you're clenched anywhere. I tend to clench through my bottom hip when I first come into this posture. So just check that area. Check the areas of the jaw, the forehead, and notice if you're really clinging to your gaze in the room, and see if you can't lessen that grip by, again, closing the eyes. Sometimes when we get into uncomfortable spaces, we cling to whatever we can, and often that's via the sight in poses and practices like this. The sensation here doesn't have to be the deepest, most profound sensation you've ever had. In fact, the softer you can be, the more effective this practice is. Let's take one more big breath in together. And then big cleansing exhale, roll back to the back. Reach both legs long, reach both arms overhead. Take another big full body stretch. And then walk your feet towards the front left corner of the mat. Maybe it feels good to cross at the ankles, and then tilt the upper body until you find that nice big banana stretch on the right side. Customize this shape for the needs of your body today. Just make this work for your shoulders, especially if there's any pinching or anything going on that doesn't feel good in the rotator cuff. No expectations from this practice, from the body. Just an open heart and a curious mind. Let's take last few breaths here into the right side body, gallbladder line, softening that yang energy. That energy that moves and directs us through in our interactions, through the course of our day. Last big deep inhale here. Release the posture with a big exhale. Stretch the body in all directions. Maybe it feels good to wiggle the fingers, maybe a yawn. Ooh. And then bring the knees into the belly one last time. Massage the low back into the floor. Give yourself a little squeeze. And let's roll to one side and then peel ourselves up off of the floor. So we're not using the core muscles. We're just coming up nice and slow to a comfortable seat. We'll take one final posture here with a little acupressure for that liver point. So between the first, let's bring the soles of the feet together, the knees open wide before I get ahead of myself. And then we'll find liver 3, This is a point that exists deep in the foot, but we can kind of get to it through the metatarsals on the top. So if you go between the bones, between the first and second toe, just about an inch back on the top of the foot, you can take your fingertips there. And then your thumbs kind of naturally rest on the ball mound on the opposite side of the foot, kind of in that same space. And you can just do a little bit of massaging pressure here for liver 3. This is a great place to work if you've been feeling short-tempered lately, if life's been feeling too fast, you can't catch up, and this makes you a little defensive, perhaps. Yeah, so just a little massage here with the thumbs, with the fingers. And then as you massage, if it feels good, you can start to kind of lean forward, getting deep into the inner thigh. You might find stillness with the pressure in the hands. And you can just let your body drape here. We don't need to be flat backed like we would in a more yang style practice. You can just let the body sort of melt forward and hang. If it's too much to keep the hands on the acupressure point, no worries. Bring your hands maybe out in front of you for support. Or if you've got some blocks to prop you up, that might be nice. And so just leaning in, we're seeking sensation through the low back, yes, but more so through the deep inner thigh. So if it feels good to rock a little side to side, invite some movement. Remembering sort of that goal of flexibility here. When we find it in body, it tends to sort of domino effect into our attitude and our mind. So finding some stillness and some heaviness in this butterfly posture. This is our last posture of today. You can be as high away from the ground as you need to be, or as low as feels good. Allow yourself to just melt forward, closing down the eyes if you haven't already. Excuse me. Imagine that you're soaking the area of the most stress in the body with hydration via the breath. So as those tissues become more hydrated, they become more pliable. They open up and create a little bit more space. When we find space, we feel more comfortable. We can relax a little bit more when we don't feel the pressure of constriction. Let's take our last 3 breaths here. Really relaxing, releasing, surrendering ego and control with each exhale. We'll take our final breath in together. And one last big cleansing sigh. Lift yourself up nice and slow, rebuilding the spine 1 vertebrae at a time. And then whatever feels good to release the legs. Maybe you stretch them out, maybe a little bounce, maybe a little self-massage for the legs. The inner thighs. Let's find a comfortable way to sit, however you want to sit, just for a moment of reflection as we end our practice. You can let the hands rest face down or face up. Maybe one on top of the other in the lap if that feels nice. Close down the eyes and just notice how you feel at the end of this practice. Taking a moment to reflect on anything that stuck with you. Anything you'd like to remember or feeling that you want to call in more often or emulate. Bringing the hands together in front of the heart, bowing the head down. Grateful to yourself that you took time to nourish your body, your mind, your spirit with this practice. Grateful to nature for the bounty and blessings, the lessons all around us in the season of spring. Taking one last breath in together. And then releasing the hands with the exhale and blinking open the eyes. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much for sharing this practice with me. If something interesting came up for you, I would love to hear about it in the comments. What was your favorite posture? Are you familiar with liver and gallbladder meridian channels, or was this new to you? Let's connect down there. Please like this video if you liked it and subscribe for more content from me. I will see you again every morning, Monday morning at 7 a.m. Central Time. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you soon. Namaste.